What are the top 10 toughest trail races for 2019? How can you handle depression and seasonal affective disorder during the winter? Which waterproof is best for trail running? And will these new gadgets boost your performance? Find out in my Q&A series, answering all your trail and ultra running questions. Hello, I'm Claire and you're watching Wild Ginger Running, the trail and ultra running advice and inspiration channel. Newcomers, be sure to click the subscribe button and check out the film description below for more info on all the gear that I recommend in this film. Firstly, Happy New Year and a huge thank you to all my loyal subscribers and patrons who share and retweet my films old and new. Thanks to Run Simon Run and Peter Wright for great examples here. And if you want the chance to win £200 worth of running gear every month and enjoy other perks from Wild Ginger Running, like getting your questions answered preferentially and having a say in what I cover on this channel, head over to my Patreon page now. The link is in the description below. Now to the first question. Enduro Dubs wanted me to do a top 10 or 20 best, hardest, toughest must-do trail races for 2019. So last time I did my top 10 best trail races of all time, and so now here are my top 10 toughest single-day sub 100-mile trail races of all time. There are some even longer multi-day and 100-mile events too, so I'll cover them in a future film. Coming in at number 1 is the Beachy Head Marathon, a definite contender for England's toughest 26-miler over the Seven Sisters in the South Downs National Park on the 26th of October 2019. Number 2, a step up from the Snowdonia Trail Marathon, the Snowdonia Trail Ultra takes place on the 14th of July 2019, and it's a gruelling 37 miles with 2,130 metres of ascent that circles and eventually climbs Wales' highest mountain, Snowdon. In the Peak District at number 3, we have the Limestone Way Ultra Trail Run, a testing 43 miles with 1,650 metres of ascent on the 6th of October, a point-to-point trail race from the White Peak to the Dark Peak. Harder still at number 4 is Endurance Life's Classic Quarter on the 8th of June, 44 miles with a 1,700 metres of ascent along the stunning cliff tops of the Cornish coastline, from Lizard Point to Land's End. Number 5, getting serious now, we have the Lakes Mountains 42 on the 30th of March this year, a wild and weather-beaten 42-mile ultra with 3,000 metres of ascent around Helvellyn, the third highest mountain in the Lake District. Number 6, longer still, is the Highland Fling Ultra Marathon, 53 miles with 2,300 metres of ascent on the 27th of April along Scotland's famous West Highland Way through Loch Lomond and the Trossachs National Park. Number 7, on the same day, you could dig even deeper with the Fellsman, 61 tough miles through the Yorkshire Dales with 3,350 metres of ascent. This is not for the faint-hearted. Number 8, the longest in this top 10, it's the Hard Moors Hard Wolds 80, an impressive 80-mile route with 2,100 metres of ascent from Hessle to Filey over the Yorkshire Moors on the 23rd of November. Don't be deceived by the distance. At number 9, the 37 miles Lakes Sky Ultra hides a thigh-burningly steep 5,000 metres of ascent in the Lake District, up the narrow rocky ridge of Swirl Edge and over the lake's third highest mountain, Helvellyn, on the 13th of July this year. And finally, in at number 10, the toughest single-day trail race under 100 miles in the UK is the Glencoe Skyline. It's only 32 miles long, but it has a monstrous 4,750 metres of ascent, including 2 huge climbs from sea level and 2 exciting technical scrambles, which you can watch recce's of here. Try it on the 22nd of September if you dare. So that's my top 10 toughest trail race roundup, but have I missed one that took you to hell and back? Let me know in the YouTube comments below. Question 2. Jedward has asked for tips handling depression and SAD, Seasonal Affective Disorder, during the winter. I'm glad you asked this, Jedward, as it affects so many people. My top tip, first of all, is to remember to trust that those feelings of bleak despair will pass. They won't stay forever, especially if you take care of yourself with my personal top tips here. Prioritise one thing that you enjoy every day, like arranging to meet a friend for a walk or run, preparing a healthy dinner, reading a good book, watching Cillian Jornet's Everest film, or you could also watch some Wild Ginger Running archive films for motivation, especially the one on motivation I made recently here. And here are some great suggestions from everybody on Twitter. Powder Race says, go through all the events ahead and pick a handful to stay focused on and plan your training for. Ginger Owls recommends a decent head torch and a running buddy or a club for motivation. Michael McCauley suggests having your gear sitting ready when you get home from work or when you get up in the morning, because preparation really helps. Oliver Koch lives in Scotland and he says it's dark when he leaves for work in the morning and dark when he comes back home. So he says using an SAD light really helps. Penny Skilton agrees with using an SAD lamp and recommends sitting next to it for 30 minutes each morning. James Panton prioritises a lunchtime run during winter, or even just a lunchtime walk. Any daylight makes a massive difference, he says. A Nether Gamer says try and get enough sleep. Sleep disruption contributes to all major psychiatric conditions, including depression, anxiety and suicidality. Finally, Giles Malk recommends vitamin D supplements in the winter. So try those suggestions, Jedward, and keep us posted on how you get on. Good luck. Question 3. BibsyBoo70 wants a waterproof running jacket below £100 and asks, will anything do the job? This combines nicely with A2 Shadow's question of what is my favourite 2.5 layer jacket. For more about what to look for in a waterproof jacket, what taped seams are and what 2.5 layer means, check out my recent gear chat here. But basically, most of the really well designed waterproof jackets for running are over £100 and some are even closer to the £200 mark. So for this, you get a very well thought through, high quality, lightweight but strong and hopefully long lasting jacket from a reputable outdoor brand. However, if you are on a tight budget, anything relatively light and well-fitting with taped seams and a hood will do for passing a mandatory gear check and keeping the rain off for a couple of hours. A cheap jacket is fine for shorter runs and races in the countryside, but I personally would not fancy venturing into remote mountainside for days on end wearing a cheap jacket, because over the years I've tried both kinds and I know which one I feel safer and more comfortable in. For those on a budget, I would recommend a trip to Decathlon for a look at the Kalenji waterproof trail running jacket. For just £55, it's a good value running specific option. And for A2 Shadow, my favourite super lightweight waterproof 2.5 emergency layer jacket at the moment is this OMM Halo jacket, which is £110, weighs a tiny 100 gram for a women's size 12 and packs down super small. I wore it for 3 hours in the rain last month and my base layer was still dry when I got home, so I'm really enjoying this jacket at the moment. Quickfire questions. Nick Fifield is a road runner but interested in trails. What influenced my choice and do I run any road races? I used to be a hill walker, so I started out on Trail magazine, so running off-road was just an extension of walking rather than road running for me. And yes, I do run the odd road race with my club, the Stamford Striders, have been known to do the local half marathon, the Great Eastern Run, and some 10Ks to work on my speed, but mainly I stick to trails. I've actually never run anything more than a half marathon on roads, and I'm pretty happy to keep it that way. Mrs. M. Adams wants to know how long it takes to wear in new trainers to get them race ready. So that is a great question. I know that Ben Mounsey from Innovate has worn them straight from the box before a race, but they were the same pair as he was wearing before, so that was fine. But so I'd want to get them at least 1 week before the race if you're going to do that. Otherwise, for completely new shoes, I'd want to run them in for at least a month before, so also for a similar distance if possible. David White wants to know about my map wallpaper. So this is my backdrop for my live films every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. and it's of my local area, including Rutland Water. It's from a company called Love Maps On, and I went for the hill shading option so I could see where I could replicate the mountains for hill training in my backyard. It's basically 4 rolls of a big map sticker. Here's a film of us putting it up. A2 Shadow wants to know if I recommend the prehab exercises in the book Running Free of Injuries by Paul Hoborough for a hip injury. So I'd go straight to the hip and pelvis section of Paul's excellent book and do the ones listed there first. But unless any of the prehab exercises aggravate your hip or you were told specifically not to do them by your physio, then they should also help with your overall strength. So definitely go for those prehab exercises as well. Hayley Trower wants a recommendation for a 35-mile ultra running pack. So check out my running pack testing playlist in the description below for my current favourites. But the one I would personally use for an ultra right now would be the Raid Light Responsive 10 litres. I really like their women's fit, the lightweight and their easy pole attachment across the upper chest. So I don't use their 600ml bottles though, and I did so on 2 extra pockets on this over the side adjustment dial. So see the review here for why I did that. So I use their women's size small and I'm a size 12. But if you're after a budget pack, try the Airnegy pack in size extra small/small. So links to both are in the description below. This week's random thing that I saw which was cool is 2 new running gadgets brought to my attention by patron Masood Kalali, who wants my thoughts on using power dots for recovery and Stride for more accurate pacing. Now weirdly, I love new technology and science fiction in general, but apart from my Garmin and my GoPro, I'm actually a really low-tech runner, so I'd never heard of these before, and so I've really very much enjoyed researching this answer. So first of all, the power dot is a small portable electrical muscle stimulator controlled via Bluetooth from an app on your phone. So think defibrillator, but with more of a sustained light buzz. You can use it to massage your muscles to reduce soreness, recovery time and risk of injury. It's £160 for one and £240 for two, so to my mind it's a very expensive foam roller, or the equivalent of multiple trips to a real physio who should be able to help you get to the bottom of the underlying issue causing the problem. However, for a qualified answer, I asked Ali Rose, the physio to Olympic gold heptathlete Jessica Ennis-Hill. Ali says the device may be beneficial for people post-op or unable to exercise or activate muscle groups, but regarding the benefits of using it to keep muscles loose or preventing injury, she says you'd be better finding a good sports physio or a soft tissue therapist. Secondly, Stride is a super lightweight running power sensor that hitches a ride on your shoelaces and tells you how hard you're running based on power measured in watts rather than using pace or heart rate. So this is useful because pace doesn't show you how hard you're working to achieve it, and HR can also be affected by external factors like stress, tiredness, heat and dehydration. So cyclists have long used power to help them pace themselves and produce consistent performances, but the technology is only just hitting the market for runners, which explains why this costs £199. It does sound interesting though, and even more so after reading a review from my friend Kieran Alger from tech review website Wearable. Kieran has written a really good in-depth article on using Stride at the 100k Race to the Stones. He reports some syncing and setup niggles when pairing with his phone or watch, but overall he found Stride straightforward to use while running and even credits it with helping him towards a few PBs. It does sound like a really interesting addition to your pacing arsenal. Want to find out more? There's a link to Kieran's article in the description below, and thanks again Masood for a great question and for supporting me on Patreon. It's question time! Last time I asked you what was your all-time favourite trail race, and the FOD runner, aka Andy, was first on the scene with the Maverick Powies race, an incredible 22 kilometres across the Beacons with some impressive mountain climbs. Check out his YouTube channel in the description below for more. So this time my question to you is, what is your favourite trail running gadget and why? Type your answers in the comments below and I'll include the best one next time. Keep those trail and ultra running questions coming and I'll answer as many as I can in next fortnight's Q&A. And if you want me to prioritise your question or be included in my monthly competition to win £200 worth of running kit, sign up to support me on Patreon. The link is in the description below. Subscribe if you haven't already and click the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. Thanks for watching, and special thanks to my awesome patrons. With your support, we are making Wild Ginger running bigger and better in 2019 and beyond. Have fun, enjoy your run, and I'll see you on the trails.